What is up, YouTube? Third Impact here, and you know why I'm here today. Kill La Kill, series finale, episode 24. I don't know how I can express to you guys how epic last night was. I don't know if you guys know this, but the two shows that I do reviews for, and I am currently following, and I am currently loving, are Space Dandy and Kill La Kill. And Space Dandy's finale for this part of the series actually got leaked 2 days early. So last night I got to watch the Space Dandy and Kill La Kill series finales, or season finale I should say, and they were both spectacular. So last night was an amazing anime night for me. My video's a bit later, but I kind of am happy that I released it a bit later because we now have information on what that final Blu-ray special OVA is going to be about, so I can include that in this little series finale wrap-up. And I would just like to thank all of you guys for sticking around, watching my videos. If you were watching my videos from the beginning, Kill La Kill Episode 7 review was actually my first ever video, so I mean, this is my first series to start doing videos for and finish, and I know that I missed the first couple, but, you know, what can I say? But, I mean, this is still, like, kind of a milestone for me in being the first, like, series finale for me to do an episode review for after it aired, so that's really cool for me, and thanks for sticking around, but this was such a jammed-packed 20 minutes, absolutely crazy, that we need to start talking about this, because this is probably going to be one of my longest episodes. This episode begins, and in the first, I don't know, 30 seconds, it has already done so much to get me hyped for this episode. I mean, we begin with that sweeping shot that we've seen both in reverse and forward of going up and back to Honnoji Academy, and that was an awesome throwback and really going full circle, being a reverse of that first shot we're given in this series, or one of the first shots, except this time is so much more climactic with the ruins of the Naked Soul and all of these Honnoji Academy students charging the transmitter. And we're immediately given this super awesome over-the-top sequence with Sanagiyama using his Ultra Goku uniform Centurion cavalry formation, where he's just riding pillars of students for this attack. And then we're immediately given this humor when he bounces off and Iori tries to explain the super complicated method as to why their attacks aren't working with the life fiber transmitter's shield. And Mako's just like, oh, so it's made out of rubber, I understand. In the first 30 seconds, I mean, it's just like awesome callbacks, throwbacks, and establishing shots. Amazing over-the-top sequences that just get us prepared for what's going to be happening this episode and how everything that's happening is going to be as ridiculous and awesome as this Centurion formation. And we're also getting the humor all just so quickly that I'm already just so hooked and so into this season finale that it's just awesome. Then the main fight begins between Ryuko and Nui and Satsuki and Rago. And even this begins with such a bang because Satsuki goes for the kill with Bakuzan, and Rago just grabs the blades and just breaks them into, like, bits in her hands. So it's like, okay, Satsuki has absolutely no weapon, and Nui's kind of just fooling around, holding Ryuko off. And then we're reminded of Rago's life fiber submission attack, and what it does is pretty much just renders all other life fibers useless and makes them completely ineffective. So we're just like, okay, we have nothing now. Like, we just lost all of our power, and Rago and Nui are just super powerful. What the hell? But of course, there is still one that can fight without the power of life fibers, and that's Nudist Beach's Mikisugi and Sumagu. And they combine to make the ultimate double naked DTR, which looks awesome. And you think they're gonna do something for a second there. They have this awesome transformation, have this like awesome sniper rifle or something, and their introduction is actually cut off with Rago just attacking them, knocking them out in one hit, making them completely useless. And that was actually really funny. But Ryuko is still fighting without Senketsu, and Gamagori has managed to make it to the top of the transmitter while just carrying Mako and everybody else, even though their suits are under life fiber submission, which Nui is very impressed by. And Mako starts making one of her inspirational speeches, even though she can barely move. She's like a plank. And Nui cuts it short and tries to kill her, but in a heroic moment, Gamagori steps in front of the blow and takes it. There's blood everywhere. It's like, holy crap. But he gets this big throw in on Nui. He tosses her out of there. She's fine, and her arms turn into wings, and she goes in for the kill on Gamagori, and Ryuko steps in. But then you think Gamagori is dead. He has this dramatic moment on the ground, and it happens real quick, like real unexpected, like he's just out. And Mako cries, and I was convinced that Gamagori was dead there. I was freaking out there for a minute. That was crazy. So Rago is picking Ryuko apart at this point, and everybody else is being absorbed by the primordial life fiber that has now resurfaced. And Sasuke has a conversation with Senketsu, which is kind of strange and unexpected, but because of this, Senketsu realizes something. And right as Rago is about to finish Ryuko off, Senketsu attacks her with his own Shimpu Senjin, which he activates all on his own. Apparently, he was created by Soichiro as a life fiber human hybrid as well. He has a little bit of both inside of him, and because of this, he's able to act on his own, defeat the Rei Homaru that was inside of Rago, pop her out of there, who we don't see again for the rest of the episode. Kind of strange. And this gets rid of Rago's power. It stops the Star Cocoon Genesis Life Sphere thing that's happening, and everybody's Goku uniforms power is returned. So we see a complete 180 reversal. They all of a sudden lose all of their power, and the good guys get all of their strength back. And it is this crazy, crazy moment where Ryuko says how they are both neither clothing, they are neither human, and she headbutts Rago, gets half of the scissor back with Satsuki, and they do this combo attack, which is just so amazing. The choreography in this part is just awesome. And while she's doing that, the Elite Four are sent to go and destroy the transmitter. And Nui's holding them off with her Mon Mignon Prêt-à-Porter clones. Sorry, excuse my French, literally. And they're being held back. They can't get to the transmitter. But that is when, probably, in reality, probably the craziest thing that happens throughout the entire episode. Gamagori is fine. He didn't die. And this makes sense. This is a throwback to one of the older episodes when we got his flashback. His father was actually an iron worker, and he has an iron plate in his gut. So the sword strike barely even hurt him, but he still passed out, so that was embarrassing. But the most incredible and amazing part was the attack he uses when he calms down. He uses this Bakukai Goteki, which is apparently his persona unleashed. He undoes his shackles and casts his pride aside. But what does this mean? Well, it means he gets a giant Gamagori face on his chest, which shoots giant laser Gamagori faces, which create Gamagori face blasts and impressions and things. It was just like, what? Like, what is this? Is this life fibers? What is this? He has two heads now? Like, honestly, that was probably the craziest moment in the entire episode, was Gamagori's Bakukai Goteki. Completely unexpected, most out of left field thing I saw that whole episode. I thought he was gonna do some giant growth thing like we've seen him do, like be bigger than the world or something, but that was way crazier than that. But obviously, this is not the end of Rago. She has a plan, and she tells Nui to sacrifice herself. And Nui has no problem with this. She seems more than willing to decapitate herself and be absorbed by the primordial life fiber, taking Rei Homaru's place and actually creating a much more powerful Shinra Koketsu. So that was insane. It made a giant Nui life fiber head. And I was pretty proud of myself for spotting this. When Nui and Rago are combining, you see this shot of Rago's face, and there's a split down the middle, and you see Nui's face right in front of it, and she goes inside of it. This was another Evangelion shout-out, but it was actually of production shots for Rebuild Episode 2, which were never actually used, but surfaced online. I'm going to post these for you so you can see the comparison, but there was a shot of, I'm not sure the number of the angel, the one that infects the Evangelion, when Asuka is in there being brainwashed by those little flying crosses. There was a scene where this angel face was supposed to appear in front of her and crazy shit was supposed to go down, and this shot was definitely a direct reference to that, so that was awesome. So Nui and Rago are now combined, and this is actually the last we see or hear of Nui, which, you know, whatever. She's, I guess, defeated when Rago and the life fibers are defeated. But I kind of wish that there was a little bit more of Nui, and that she got more than just her last scene of, oh, it feels so good to be combined with you, Rago. But that happens. She creates this giant Shimpu form, like this giant rocket, and she takes off into space to the transmitter that's going to activate all the other life fibers, making a very strange and inappropriate sound while doing so. She gets up there, kisses what looks like this lipstick transmitter thing that makes this rainbow crazy mode engulf the planet, activating all the life fibers, engulfing it. Craziness. Mako has one last inspirational speech in which she says her and Ryuko should go on a date when she gets back. Once she defeats Rago, they'll be able to create a world where girls will be able to go out and have fun and wear whatever clothes they want. Oh, it's gonna be so great. It was a weird final speech, but it was kind of nice and ended up making sense by the end of the episode, so that was cool. And after the speech is done, Ryuko says she's going to wear all of their Goku uniforms, and in this awesome moment, she absorbs all of the other Goku uniforms and becomes Senketsu Kisaragi. With her new Senketsu Kisaragi form, she quickly copies Rago's giant rocket ability and blasts up right after her. And Rago's just kind of sitting up there all smug, all happy about how her plan has come to fruition and how beautiful the world looks cloaked in life fibers, and Ryuko just goes flying up and bops her and knocks her back, and it's pretty great, and she's very surprised. Ryuko is up there with her two scissor blades and finally, properly and officially combines them to make the dual scissors and the dual scissor double decapitation mode, which is just this nasty looking pair of scissors, but is absolutely ineffective on Rago, which is quite disappointing. Rago is just using these impaling attacks, just picking away at Ryuko, and Ryuko is regenerating, falling, coming back for more, putting up a bit of a fight, but this whole time Rago is just, you know, preaching about the secrets of the universe, how all of this is preordained, how the, you know, future of the Earth is in destruction, and that the life fibers are just all part of this master plan, and that there is nothing they can do to stop it. So Ryuko takes the punishment, she takes the hits, so that she can become closer and closer to death and unleash her greatest potential when she is in this state. And at the same time this is happening, we are given, you know, the revelation that all this time Senketsu has been absorbing life fibers. It's been nourishing his power of evolution, and that he has become a being greater than just clothing and humans. And also, at this same time, it also comes together Senketsu's ability to copy his opponent's abilities. How we've been seeing this constantly, and also how he just quickly copied Shinra Koketsu's ability to go blasting off into space. So, at this super climactic moment of, you know, all these tropes of being closest to death, absorbing all of these powers from all of his opponents, having this innate power of evolution, and having the ability to absorb his opponent's ability, all of these things come together, and Ryuko and Senketsu in Kisaragi form are essentially God. They have said they are both and not clothing and humans, that they are everything, and they take this life fiber submission ability for themselves. And holy crap. Once that final attack has died down and Ryuko has regained the power of all life fibers, Rago is simply standing there in front of Ryuko, and Ryuko tells her that she should just surrender quietly and they should go back to Earth. But Rago says that life fibers still exist out there in the universe, and that someday they will come back to Earth, and that she's not going to surrender quietly. She'll decide how her end will be met, and she rips out her own heart and just crushes it in her hands, and her body disappears. Essentially, she dies. I don't think that her will is even still around, but I mean, she hints that there's still life fibers out there, which is kind of weird. But then you see Senketsu's sort of weird. He's sort of dripping a little bit, and he says that they need to get back to Earth quickly, and he quickly jets off, and they're going back to Earth. While they're falling, Senketsu's like, it was a pleasure meeting you and all of this to Ryuko, and you're like, they're not just going to kill off Senketsu like this, or maybe they're just going to make it dramatic, but obviously he's going to be fine in the end. But Senketsu really does die here, and it's so weird how dramatic this scene actually is, and it is pretty emotional and sad for it being of an article of clothing burning up. I mean, obviously, he wasn't just clothing. He was more than clothing and human, but you know what I mean? And it's kind of sad. It happens very abruptly, but it's also kind of beautiful in that he says how, you know, girls are all supposed to outgrow sailor uniforms, and you now have. Feel free to wear whatever clothing you like, which ties back to Mako's speech about the world she was going to hopefully create, where they could go out on dates and wear whatever they wanted. They wouldn't have to fight these battles, and she wouldn't be forced to wear Senketsu, even though, you know, she really did want to. And also that, you know, she has now fulfilled her father's will, and I still feel that her father's will was imbued in Senketsu. This was what made it human, was her father's presence within it. So now that his will has been fulfilled, her father can now also rest in peace, and Senketsu can burn up. And it was a very beautiful scene, and I was surprised how well they pulled that off. And it goes black, but the episode isn't over yet. She's falling down, and you get this great moment of Satsuki just yelling Ryuko's name in an awesome, awesome way, with more emotion than you've ever seen Satsuki yell with. And Ryuko's falling like a comet almost, but Satsuki catches her and goes flying back, and the Elite Four stop her, and then the Makon Shoku family stop them, and then everybody else stops them. It's a really like heartwarming scene of everybody helping each other again, and at the same time it's like classic like out of context strangeness from Kill La Kill, because it ends with a shot of them all, you know, sprawled out naked everywhere, but like victorious, and it looks so strange. But, you know, in the context of the show, after all that's happened, it's actually just like a super, like, sweet, innocent scene. So, like, that was really funny how they had that shot there. And, yeah, it was like the show ends there. We see this credit sequence where we see the world that has been created, I believe, after this. Sasuke has short hair, and everybody's wearing all these different clothes. It's almost like a modern sort of Japan that they've created. And it was very reminiscent of the scenes that we see at the end of the first ending, which was a song that they played, except when we saw it there, it was a lot more of like an oppressive sort of atmosphere, and you see her looking at the wedding dress and things, a lot more of the themes we saw earlier on. This is sort of like a fully realized happy version of this, so that was really nice. And we are now told what the special OVA that's going to be on the final Blu-ray will include, and it's actually going to be an epilogue covering Ryuko's graduation from Hanashi Academy, which is crazy. I mean, I don't know, they never actually did much class, but I guess their education was how to save the world. I don't know what kind of job that's going to get you in the end, but whatever. And who knows what they're going to do with this epilogue. It's going to be a full, like, 20-minute episode epilogue, so I don't know if it's just going to be happy endings for everybody, or if they could try to have something resurface. I mean, we never saw Rei Homaru again. I guess we should just assume that she disappeared when the life fibers were destroyed, along with Nui. Who knows if they can try to set something up. I'm pretty happy with how it ended, though. I'm not sure how they would really continue it too much. And just in general, it was an amazing, amazing episode. Great series finale. I want this video to just focus on this individual episode. I'll probably do a full series review afterwards where I can kind of give more of my thoughts and opinions on the things I liked and disliked about everything. But this episode on its own was just a fantastic episode. Just a great example of an anime finale, and it just pulled out all the stops, had some great anime tropes that were just great. And yeah, stay tuned for a full review. Hope you guys liked it, and thanks for sticking by all of these Kill La Kill episodes. Peace.